It's time for the one and the only show. It's the Luke Howard Show Live. Please welcome the one and the only. He looks amazing. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, thank you. It's Luke Howard. Thank you very much. Thank you for that little introduction. Thank you. Oh, do I look amazing? Oh, thank you. Thank you for saying that. My introduction manager said I look amazing. For those of you who just joined in and missed that bit, my person who does my introduction said Luke looks amazing. And I went, oh, thank you very much for that. Oh, thank you. Anyway, morning everybody, good morning, hope everyone is well, and are looking forward to today's show, and you're raring to go, you just woke up and you got a nice cup of tea by your side, and you're all ready to go. Hope everyone's okay, and is doing well today. We've got another good show lined up today. We're talking about news, we're going to be playing music, and we'll also talk about what National Day is today, because I'm looking forward to talking about that. But I'm going to keep it a secret till later on, and I'll announce it about National Day it is today. I think, I'll tell you what, I'll just say what it is now, and then I'll go through it later on. It is today Vinyl Record Day, so we'll talk about that later on. Because I want to talk about, first of all, I want to talk about officials in a recession for first time in 11 years. I think they're talking about shops closing down because of all what's going on at the moment, I think. But we're going to talk about that because I've got my say to say about this. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later on in a moment. One moment we're going to talk about that, and then we're also going to be talking about something else as well. We've got two pieces of news to talk about. The usual, and we're talking about the VP pick Kamala Harris has chosen as running mate. So we'll talk about that later on as well, straight after we spoke about the shops. So the weather out there today is going to be scorching once again. I think up to about 34, 33 degrees. It feels like it to me. I feel like I'm going to die. I feel like I want to die because of all this weather. It's going to get absolutely scorching. So whatever you're doing today, if you are inside, do let us know. 07593 847 105. Get in touch and we'll give you a mention on Britain's Best Radio Show. Or call that number and I will get back to you. Or email us, GaryJHoward68@hotmail.com. Now, just to let you all know, I say it's every day. I'm still having trouble with trying to access my emails, so you can email me still, but I won't get it until after the 17th of August. I remember we are only on 3 days next week, because after that I'm on my holidays. 17th, 18th, 19th we're going to be on next week. I'll tell you all about that nearer the time. Yes, you can also find us on Instagram. It's the Luke Howard fan page. It's just the Luke Howard fan page. The Luke Howard fan page. If you want to do if you do want to email me via my email, you can, but I will not reply to after the 17th. So it's because I can't access them at the moment. So it's 345 457 @student.hrc.ac.uk, or you can use the hashtags #Luke Howard, #Luke Howard Show, or listen to the Luke Howard Show. Lots of great ways to get in touch with the show today, and I'll leave a message below where I'm presenting this show live now, so you can get it. So you can either leave the message on a bit beneath where I'm presenting the show now. Just leave a message below, and I'll mention you on the show. So I've been doing lots of great yoga at the moment, and I'm sure lots of you I've started to do meditation and yoga, and one of them is my circles. Wherever I go, I'm always doing my circles. So if you are doing yoga and meditation, do it. It's so lovely and so relaxable. And I always like to visit the health shops where they sell the rocks, the healing rocks, and lots of other things they sell. I love going to these sort of shops. These health shops, I love them. They're absolutely amazing. So they're really good. I can't believe it's only 4 minutes past 10, and out there it's already scorching hot. Whew! I'm sitting here, I've got the fan on number one, the fan in my face, or the air conditioner, I don't know what it is, but it's still nice and cool right here in the studio, so I'm okay, I'm fine, I'm sure you're fine too, I'm sure you're keeping cool as well. However you are staying cool, they're saying there's lots of tips on how you can stay cool. One of them is get a bucket of ice. What's the point? Because that's just running out. That's just wasting ice. Because you could use all that in your cool drinks. You could put a bucket of ice against a fan, and apparently that makes it really cool. I've never actually tried that before, but I might try that sometime. I mean, it sounds quite good. It sounds quite promising. Trying to get a fan and put it against a bucket of ice. It sounds great. I might even think about doing that. That sounds quite good. But yeah, I will think about doing that ice in the bucket and the fan. It sounds quite cool. Oh, cool. So let's talk about the news now then, shall we? Because I want to talk about shops, okay? Because I have noticed this. Lots of shops are closing down due to COVID-19. Because in 2009, we know it was happening because we had Woolworths that shut that year, and then lots of other shops were also closing as well. So the UK economy suffered its biggest slump on record between April and June this year, as coronavirus lockdown measures pushed the country official into recession. Now, yesterday we were talking about people who were furloughed and people who've been working. Today we're talking about shops which are set to be closing down because since 2009 that was when it was happening, and then it stopped for a while, and now it's happening again. So the economy has shrunk 20.4% compared with the last 3 months of this year. Household spending, I mean, we knew this year was going to be like this anyway, but household spending plunged as shops were ordered to close, while factory and construction outputs also fell. This did push the UK into its first technical recession, defined it as 2 constructive quarters of economic decline since 2009. Now, the official for the National Statistics said the economy bounced back. Yes, it bounced back in June as government restrictions on movement started to ease. Jonathan Arpo, Deputy National Statistician for the Economic Statistics, said, despite this, gross domestic product back in June still remains a sixth below its level in February before the virus struck. The ONS said that the collapse in output was driven by the closure of shops, hotels, restaurants, schools and car repair shops. And the service sector, which powers 4/5 of the economy, suffered the biggest quality decline on record. Now, factory shutdowns also resulted in the slowest car production since 1954. The economic decline was encrypted in April this year at the height of lockdown. Now, on a month-on-month basis, the economy grew by 8.7% in June, building on growth in May. But the clothes stores, bookshops, like Waterstones, I suppose, and other non-essential retailers opened their doors in England on the 15th of June this year, while construction work jumped after large declines in previous 2 months. Now, okay, despite the UK Chancellor Rishi Sunak, he said the economic slump would lead to more job issues in the coming months. Now, official jobs figures did show that the number of people in work fell by 220,000 between April and June. The drop in the number of people employed was the largest quality decrease since May and July in 2009, which is also the depths of the financial crisis. He said, hundreds of thousands of people have already lost their jobs, and sadly, in the coming months, many more will lose their jobs. I've lost my job. I don't know when I'm going to be going back. So, I mean, I might be going back next year. I spoke to my boss yesterday. He said, you're definitely not coming back next year because you can't wear a mask. So he said, you'll be back next year. Now, businesses groups urged the government to do more to support the economic recovery. Yes, now going back to my cheese shop, it is still open, but I'm not working there until maybe after Christmas sort of time. Now, Appledge Bluchy, an economist at the Confederation of British Industry, she said many companies were struggling to pay their bills on this at this time. He said that a sustained recovery is by no means assured. The dull threats of second wave and slow progress over Brexit negotiations, because it was Brexit all over, now this. I mean, it's all gone over the place, because first it was Brexit, then it was the storms, and now this sort of thing. Now, the Institute of Directors said that monitoring of the debates made it difficult for businesses to push ahead with spending plans. The chief economist, Tej Parjik, said job losses have been monitoring and may only increase as we reach the end of the furlough scheme. The pile of debt businesses have had to take on that could be a lasting hangover. It's urging the government to cut employers' national insurance contributions, which would make it cheaper to hire. It also said that further grants for small businesses would help them through the pandemic. While more than recent data suggested the recovery is granting taxation, the Bank of England doesn't accept the economy to get back to its pre-crisis size until the end of next year. The Office for Budget Responsibility, the government's official forecaster, expects for the recovery to take even longer. The UK slump is also one of the biggest among advanced economies, according to the industry estimates. The economy is more than a fifth smaller than it was at the end of last year, and this fall is not as bad as the 22.7% in decline in Spain, but around twice the size of declines in Germany and the US. The Bank of England has noted that social spending such as eating out, going to a concert or watching a football match is a bigger driver of growth in the UK than in America or the Eurozone. The first official GDP numbers for this period show over a fifth of the value of the economy that were lost since the beginning of the year, mainly driven by the severe shutdown, which was back in April this year. Now, March. It was March actually, not April. April. The sheer extent and speed of the contraction, through not surprising, reflects an economic hit that has affected every high street and town and city in the country. The economy of now is growing again, but not all the lights that were dimmed in order to protect public health in the spring. And will it be turned back? Well, we'll find out, because it will be turned back, and we all know that anyway. Right, okay, one more story then. Before we move to one more story, I just want to say I've noticed lots of shops have been shutting down, because in our town, the butchers might be closing down. So, I mean, I know that a lot of shops have been losing businesses at the moment. Lots of shops, the Edinburgh Woolly Mill, I know some shops are closing down and some shops are staying open. The one in Hertford was on the verge of closing down. And then, obviously, all this happened, so they're closed anyway, but they're not sure when they're going to be opening back up again, because lots of different shops have been not opening back up due to this pandemic. So, do you think that any shops are going to be opening back up? Because lots of them haven't actually been opening back up at all. I mean, I'm sure some of them will, and I'm sure some of them won't. I mean, places like clothes shops, some of them have been staying open, and some of them haven't. Some of them have only been opening part-time. The ones in our town are only open a couple of days a week now, and they're closed the rest of the week. So some have been closing down, and some have been staying open. So, I mean, are some even going to be opening back up at all? I mean, we do not know. Nobody knows. I mean, nobody knows if any of them are going to open back up anyway. I mean, we saw loads of other shops closing down last year, like House of Fraser, and lots of other shops also have been closing down. But does that mean for every single shop to close down? I mean, shops need to stay open because it gets people, people need their shopping, they need their clothes, they need their bits and bobs, they need everything. So the reason why they're all closing down is because of all this that's going on at the moment. So, I don't know, it's a hard one really, isn't it? Very, very hard. And we spoke about that just now, and I just look at it and I just think, do I think some of them are going to open back up? Well, eventually, yeah. Eventually they will. But it's just obviously what's going on at the moment, they won't be opening back up for a while, but I'm sure they will be very soon. But it's really weird because with the Edinburgh Woolly Mill, it's okay for all the other shops for the same company to open back up, but for some of them, it isn't. Very, very strange. I mean, the ones in all the garden centres have been opening back up, and some of the shops in the towns have, but some of them haven't. Maybe they're just taking their time at the moment. Very hard. Does anyone know what's going to be happening with them? I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of them have been going very well, but lots of other company shops, some of them have been opening and some of them have been staying closed. But the thing is, you are not allowed to try things on when you go into these shops. My nan, she's absolutely gobsmacked that she can't go into a shop and not try something on. She loves going clothes shopping and she loves trying things on, but obviously she can't do that at the moment. She can go in and look at it, but she can't, try it on. I mean, she could, maybe put it over to see what it's like, but after that, they have to quarantine it. I mean, it's like other things. When you take stuff to a charity shop, they have to quarantine it for 72 hours. So wherever you go, whatever you do, and you touch something, they have to quarantine it for 72 hours, which is quite a long time. I'm sure that's 3 days. I know 24 hours is all day. From midnight to midnight to the next midnight is about, yeah. But it's just, they have to quarantine it. I mean, I'm sure they do for a long time. But when other places open, they will have to do the same. But obviously, at the moment, most of them are shut. But they will open up when they will. They will open up soon. Okay, they will. So, Biden VP pick. Now we're moving on because Kamala Harris has chosen as a running mate. Now, Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden has named Caroline Harris as his